What kind of life can you have in Vietnam with around $300 a month? And how different is it from someone earning around $1,200 a month? Hi, I'm Hai. I was born and raised in Vietnam. Today, I want to show you two very different ways of living in my country. We will visit a simple rental house, a more modern apartment, local food places, a traditional market, and some everyday places where Vietnamese people actually spend their money. This is not about rich or poor. It is about real life, real costs, and how people in Vietnam live with different incomes. Our first stop is this small rental house. It costs about 3 million Vietnamese dong per month, or around 115 US dollars. Many young families choose places like this because the rent is affordable. Most rental houses at this price are located inside small alleys instead of facing the main road. The farther you walk into the alley, the quieter it becomes. Along both sides, you can see many houses built close together. Some families own these houses. Others are divided into smaller units and rented out to local residents. The rent depends on the size of the house, its condition, and the location. Let's go inside and see what life looks like here. This is the living room. Homes like this are usually rented by young couples with 1 or 2 children. You can already tell this is a family home. There are children's toys, a small desk for work or study, and a chair where someone can relax after work. It feels quite warm inside. Air conditioners are usually not included when people rent houses like this. Most tenants buy and install one themselves if they can afford it. To save electricity, many families still use an electric fan for most of the day. The walls show a few small cracks. That usually means the house has been here for quite a long time. It isn't perfect, but it is still a comfortable place for a small family to live. Now, let's take a look at the kitchen. Everything here is simple, but very organized. There is a gas stove, a sink, a water purifier, and the basic things needed for everyday cooking. Most of these appliances belong to the family, not the landlord. In Vietnam, rental houses at this price are often rented almost empty. This is the bedroom. The furniture is very basic. An older air conditioner, a bed, and a wardrobe are enough for everyday life. And this is the bathroom. It is not new, but it is clean and well maintained. Some families use it to dry clothes. Others grow a few vegetables or keep some plants. Even a small space like this becomes useful in everyday life. Now, let's step outside and see what the neighborhood is like. Many of the people living here are factory workers, office employees, or young families just starting their lives. For many of them, this is an affordable place to live while they work and save money for the future. One thing I like about neighborhoods like this is that almost everything you need is just a short walk away. There are small grocery stores, fruit shops, pharmacies, and simple restaurants. People don't usually need to drive far to buy everyday necessities. Early in the morning, these streets become much busier. Food stalls open before sunrise. People stop on their way to work to grab breakfast. Some eat there, others simply take the food with them. Breakfast is an important part of everyday life in Vietnam. You can find many traditional dishes sold right on the sidewalk. Sticky rice, steamed buns, rice noodle rolls, or a bowl of noodle soup. They are quick, affordable, and freshly made every morning. Today, I'm going to show you one of my favorites, Vietnamese rice noodle rolls. Let's see how they're made. This is one of the most popular breakfast dishes in northern Vietnam. It's called bánh cuốn. Making it takes both time and skill. First, the rice is soaked in water for many hours. Then, it is ground into a smooth, liquid batter. The batter is poured onto a thin cloth stretched over a pot of boiling water. The steam gently cooks the rice into a soft, delicate sheet. It only takes a few seconds. Next, the rice sheet is filled with seasoned ground pork, wood ear mushrooms, and onions. Then it is carefully rolled by hand. Watching someone make bánh cuốn is almost as enjoyable as eating it. It comes with Vietnamese pork sausage, and grilled, everything is served with fish sauce. I ordered one serving. The sauce is slightly sweet, slightly sour, and full of flavor. Breakfast like this is something many Vietnamese people grow up eating. Simple, fresh, and made right in front of you. The rice sheet is incredibly soft. The filling is warm and flavorful. Together with the fish sauce, every bite feels light but satisfying. I can understand why this has been a favorite breakfast for generations. After seeing the rental house and having a simple local breakfast, now let's visit a very different place. It is only a short distance from the neighborhood we just visited, but the lifestyle here feels completely different. This is a modern apartment building. Many families with higher income choose places like this because life here is more convenient, cleaner, and easier to manage. Instead of small alleys, there are wider entrances and organized parking areas. Instead of walking directly into a small rental house, residents usually go through a lobby, elevators, and shared hallways. The first difference you notice is the building itself. There are elevators, brighter hallways, cleaner walls, and better lighting. Everything feels more organized. For a family, this can make daily life much easier. Let's go inside one apartment and see what the rent can get you here. This apartment rents for about 10 million Vietnamese dong a month. That's around 390 US dollars. The first thing I noticed was that it was fully furnished. Unlike the rental house we visited earlier, most of the essential appliances are already included. The refrigerator, the television, the air conditioners, the washing machine. Even the sofa and dining table are ready to use. That means people can move in without buying many expensive appliances. The living room feels much brighter. Natural light comes in through the large windows. The space is also more open. Everything has its own place. This is the kitchen. It is simple but modern. There is enough space for everyday cooking. The cabinet for storing dishes, chopsticks, and cooking utensils looks modern, stylish, and very practical. Many apartment kitchens in Vietnam have a similar layout like this. The bedrooms are also larger than the rental house we visited earlier. The beds, wardrobes, and air conditioners are already installed. For a family, moving in is much easier. This apartment has 2 bathrooms. Both are clean and well maintained. For families with children, having 2 bathrooms makes everyday life much more convenient. Compared with the rental house, the biggest difference is not the furniture. It's convenience. Many things are already prepared before the family even moves in. That is one reason why apartments like this cost more. But the apartment is only part of the story. Let's go downstairs and see what the neighborhood looks like. Right beneath the apartment building is the parking basement. After walking a little farther, you can reach a fairly large movie theater with 4 screening rooms and more than 500 seats. There are also claw machines and massage chairs where visitors can relax while waiting for their movie to start. Unfortunately, we arrived a little too early today, so the theater hadn't opened yet. So, let's head upstairs and take a look at the main lobby. One of the first things you notice is how much open space there is. There are wide walking paths, trees, and places where people can simply sit and relax. In the evening, many families come downstairs after work. Children ride bicycles or scooters. Parents sit nearby and chat with each other. The buildings are protected by security guards and security cameras. Only residents or visitors can enter the apartment buildings. That gives many families an extra sense of security. Another thing I noticed is how many services are located just downstairs. There are convenience stores, coffee shops, pharmacies, and small restaurants. Most daily errands can be done without leaving the neighborhood. I stopped by a convenience store inside the building. One thing I noticed right away was that most of the products were from China, while there were very few Vietnamese brands. That's because many Chinese people live in this apartment complex. The shelves were filled with all kinds of Chinese snacks. Many children seem to enjoy these ready-to-eat seasoned snacks. Most of the products here cost more than 20,000 Vietnamese dong, or about 80 US cents. The prices seem to be more suitable for Chinese customers than for local Vietnamese shoppers. Compared to the neighborhood we visited earlier, life here feels more organized. But at the same time, It also feels a little quieter. People spend more time inside the buildings than outside on the street. It is simply a different way of living. After walking around for a while, I started to get hungry. So now, let's have lunch the way many Vietnamese people do every day. This is the kind of restaurant many Vietnamese people eat at every day. Office workers, factory workers, students, almost everyone eats at places like this. Unlike restaurants where you order from a menu, the food here is already cooked. You simply walk along the counter and choose whatever you want to eat. Rice is served first. Then you choose vegetables, meat, or soup. Everyone can build a meal they like. One habit you'll notice in almost every Vietnamese restaurant is that people wipe their chopsticks and spoons with a tissue before eating. Even if the utensils have already been washed, many people still do this out of habit. Some people believe it makes the utensils cleaner, while others simply feel more comfortable doing it. It's a small habit, but one you'll see almost everywhere in Vietnam. A meal like this usually costs around 35,000 Vietnamese dong. That's about $1.30. It's affordable, it's filling, and most importantly, it's fast. Perfect for people who only have a short lunch break before going back to work. I think meals like this say a lot about daily life in Vietnam. They are simple, freshly cooked, affordable enough that almost everyone can enjoy them. After lunch, let's visit one more place where many Vietnamese families shop every week. A supermarket. This one is called Go. You can find supermarkets like this in many cities across Vietnam. Inside, everything feels very different from a small local market. The space is large, bright, and organized. Prices are clearly displayed, so people don't need to bargain. They simply choose what they need and pay at the checkout. There is almost everything here for daily life. Fresh vegetables, fruit, seafood, meat, household products, clothes, and even toys for children. For many families, shopping here is more convenient. It is clean, it is air-conditioned, and you can buy many things in one trip. But of course, this is not the only way Vietnamese people shop. Before we leave, I want to try something very popular with young people in Vietnam: ice cream. This shop is part of a Chinese dessert chain that has become very common in Vietnam in recent years. The brand started from a small shaved ice shop in 1997. Now, you can see it in many cities, including here in Vietnam. The price is quite affordable. So many students and young people like stopping here for a quick ice cream or drink. I don't know if this brand exists in your country, but in Vietnam, it has become very familiar. Let's try one before we go to a place that feels much more traditional. Modern supermarkets are becoming more common in Vietnam, but many Vietnamese families still prefer shopping at traditional markets. So now, let's go to a local market and see why. The feeling here is completely different. It is smaller, busier, louder, and much more personal. Many sellers have been working here for years. Some customers know exactly which stall they want to buy from. Unlike supermarkets, many products here are displayed in the open. Some are placed on small tables, some are placed right on the sidewalk, and some are sold directly from motorbikes or baskets. Here, people can buy just a small amount of what they need. A little vegetables, some fruit, a little meat, or cooked food to take home. These roasted ducks and chickens are very popular. One usually costs around 160,000 Vietnamese dong. That's about $6. For a busy family, this can become a quick lunch or dinner. A market like this may look messy at first, but for local people, everything has its own rhythm. People know where to go. They know who sells good vegetables. They know which stall has fresh meat. And sometimes, they don't just come here to buy food. They also come to talk, meet familiar sellers, and feel connected to the neighborhood. That is one reason traditional markets are still very important in daily life. It's a hot afternoon. And one of the busiest places in the market is this dessert stall. In Vietnam, this dessert is called chè. There isn't just one kind of chè. There are dozens of different versions across the country. Some are made with beans. Some use coconut milk. Others include jelly, lotus seeds, sticky rice, fresh fruit, or many other ingredients. Every region has its own favorite recipe. I really like this stall. I've stopped here many times before. Watching her prepare each cup is almost relaxing. Every movement is quick and practiced. You can tell she has done this for many years. On busy days, she can sell hundreds of cups. One cup costs around 15,000 Vietnamese dong. That's only about 60 cents. Affordable enough that almost anyone can enjoy one. Let's try it. It's cold, sweet, and very refreshing. On a hot day like this, I can understand why so many people stop here. Whether someone lives in a small rental house or a modern apartment, simple treats like this are enjoyed by everyone. Sometimes, good food is one thing that everyone has in common. As the sun begins to set, another part of daily life in Vietnam starts to become busy. The local beer restaurants, you can find places like this almost everywhere. People come here after work to eat, drink, and spend time with friends or family. Some stay for 30 minutes. Others spend the whole evening here. The food is simple and made for sharing. Grilled meat, seafood, boiled peanuts, or small local dishes that go well with a cold beer. Many dishes cost only $1 or $2. Even larger dishes are still very affordable. One thing I like is that people from many different backgrounds come here. Office workers, construction workers, small business owners, young people, older people. Everyone sits at the same kind of table, sharing food and talking about their day. After spending a day visiting these different places, I realized something. People in Vietnam may live very different lives. Some rent a small house, some live in modern apartments, some shop at supermarkets, others still prefer traditional markets. But in the end, everyone is simply trying to build a good life for their family. I hope this video gave you a better picture of everyday life in Vietnam. Not the Vietnam from travel brochures, but the Vietnam where millions of people live every day. If you enjoyed exploring Vietnam with me, I'd love to have you join me on my next journey. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.